Well, Brian, here's the deal, okay? I was asking Mike Muncie if he knew you. I said, I remember you and Brian. Who's Brian? I said, Leonard's boy, Brian. And he lived up where you might see. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know who he was. You never knew him, did you, Mike?
No.
You never knew him? That's funny, ain't it?
It is.
You just take for granted people know each other.
Right.
And you're thinking, yeah, but no, he didn't know who you was, which is pretty good because you can get by with a lot of stuff.
Right.
People don't know who you are.
I heard Muncie. I was like, well, he lives in South Holland.
Yeah. One of the things I vowed to do on a program like this is expose people. That's why I got you here. Okay? This is the deal I'm going to tell you. That's all right. One of the things I want to do is if anybody ever sees you come to a family outing and there's cornhole, that you're a hustler. Okay? And this is the deal. And I was talking to Dwayne about this today. I said, as you hustled us at the family outing, which we were family, you hustled us. This is one thing you did too. You didn't get the new bags. You got the old bags. And see, it took me about 3 or 4 months to catch that. You got the old bags because they weren't as slick. The new bean bags were slick. Okay? And if we ever let you come back again, and everybody's talking about it. Now, I put out a vote and nobody has said anything. But all you're going to get is 1 bag.
1 bag.
Yeah, and everybody else is going to get 4.
Okay.
You're going to get 1 Dad Burn bean bag.
What about 2? I mean.
No. Now you're trying to negotiate. Dwayne said you would try that.
Right.
But I said, no. I said, we're going to have to pull this thing back. I said, because he's hustled us. And we may tie one arm or something, or tie your legs together. I don't know, but
I can throw left-handed.
we might cover your eyes. Okay, we're thinking, then you'll go by sound. But man, you cornhole, you took advantage of us. You just took advantage of the whole. You wore us out.
Well,
it was just something.
I got.
But you're good at it.
When I got a new life, I didn't know what to do with myself, so I picked up a couple hobbies.
Right. Oh man. I think about your daddy a lot, and I loved your daddy. Okay, your daddy was good to me. He just was always good to me. And Leonard was a funny fella. I think of so many things growing up. First thing I think about your dad. Your dad borrowed a car off my dad one time. It was a Galaxy 500, Ford Galaxy Maroon 500. And Leonard would borrow something, your dad would, and keep it. Okay. And he kept it like a year, okay? And he would charge gas to Dad because it was Dad's car. Right. And he brought it back one time and said it needed tires. I remember that like it's yesterday. I mean, but you couldn't help but love him.
Oh, yeah. I loved him deeply, and I know he loved me, And I remember one time him and my mom got in a spat and she left. And I was like, well, I'm going to stay here, and that kind of took her for a loop, but I did. I loved him dearly.
Yeah. I think about those things. I think about him growing up, and I think about it in life. And I know I've shared this story with you. One time, it was a guy there in town that was going to whip me for some reason. I don't know why he was going to whip me, and why would anybody want to whip me? But he was going to whip me. And I said he's going to whip me, and I was a little afraid of him. Big old man. He was older than me. I was maybe 150 pounds or so, and he was going to whip me. And I was at City Hall standing on the porch, and there he come. And I said, whoo, boy, I guess tonight's my night. Because I knew there was no sense I was going to get whipped. And he said, I'm here to whip your little blankety blank. And about that time, Leonard walked around the corner, and he said, I don't think it's going to work out quite like you think it is. That guy never said another word to me.
Well, he was a good man to have on your side when that went down, for sure.
Exactly. One night, him and I got in a fight in the mines, coal mines.
I heard about that.
30 inches. And he roughed me up. He roughed me up, and I said, I finally got that old red steel-toed boot in the right place. And I said, no, you're going to hurt me. I said, but I'm going to give you a little jolt. And I said, but if you'll let me go, we'll call it even.
Yeah.
And we got stranded in the mines one time, me and him. We worked together a lot in the mines for some reason. And we got stranded in the mines. We was working in the mines, and we got up there and had a hole in the cable. It was wet, and we couldn't get out. everywhere we go, man, we get in juice. And it was we was working late, and we had to stay in there till next morning. Somebody come and finally radioed.
Wow.
And another time we was working together in the mines, and me and him, and these are memories I think about. And it was froze cold outside, frozen cold. You know, we was wet because we were working in water and everything. Come outside, and I had a Datsun pickup, and it was froze to the ground. It wouldn't move, and we had to walk home out of Warrior Mines at night, soaking wet. I got home and my overalls was just froze. I could hang them up. They were just crunched when they walked through there. Memories of something, ain't they?
They are.
And I tell you what, I liked your mom.
Yeah, my mom. She had some good qualities. I tell you.
She sure did.
We, no matter where we ever lived, we lived in a clean home.
Absolutely.
I always had food to eat. You know, and she was kind of one of the people too. If you wanted somebody to have you back, she was the one to have there
Scrappy.
for sure. Yeah, she was scrappy, but yeah, she was tough. Raised with all them boys, I guess.
Yeah. Your mom was good. Tell me who your mom was.
Lucille Dash.
Right.
You know, she grew up around war, and yeah, she was my mama, and loved her dearly too.
Yeah.
She passed away there a few years ago. It's tough. I was newly saved. I've been saved for like 2 months. And, you know, mom and dad, they kind of lived a hard life, you know, self-imposed hard life. Right. And I seen some things and learned some things that I probably shouldn't have learned, but I always kind of blamed them for the way I turned out and everything. But she was on life support, and I went in there to see her. And for the first time in my life, I asked a question: "What happened to you, Mom? What led you down this road?" And I had never done that before. It was always about me, and that's when I knew. That's when I knew I was different. You know, I was able to forgive her, and and be honest, with the lifestyle they chose, they did a pretty good job. You know, with me, so.
Yeah. I tell you what she was. She was always so kind to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can never think of a crossword with me. I mean, I never think of she was always nice and good to me. And I remember many of Sunday dinner at the farm, her sitting there. I remember us all up there eating together. And I mean, I think about those things in my life, and I think about the history of that.
Yeah.
And how important that was. And I think kindness, people forget how far kindness will go. I mean, you might kick an old dog, but if you'll pet it, it'll come back to you in just a little while.
Right.
And how much we are, if we'll just be kind to people a little bit. And I cannot, to me, I don't remember one bad thing about her. Okay?
Yeah.
There's not a bad memory. There's not a harsh word. There's not a, you know, because I didn't live with her, okay?
Right.
All right? I mean, you know, I didn't live with Leonard and wouldn't have wanted to, but I mean, I think about things in my life that there's kindness and being kind to people and taking the time. We don't understand how far that goes.
Well, I tell you, you know, as far as the Sunday dinner thing, I lived up on that farm. I was the only kid up there.
Right.
So 6 days out of the week, there was no other kids there.
Right.
I stayed with Harold and Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa and Dickie and your dad when they come up. So, yeah, I always looked forward to Sunday because there'd be some other kids there and I could kind of get out and play. But as far as kindness, I remember Harriet, your mama, when I was a boy, and I went to church down there at the Church of God. She was always so good to me, and she poured into me and answered my questions. And throughout my whole life, I carried that with me. I never, ever forgot how kind and good she was to me. You know, she never, she always kind of lit up just to see me. So I never forgot that. Yeah.
And, you know, that's, I think about things in life, think about this, Brian. My mom is healthier than me and you, and I don't even know your health history.
Right.
Okay? She's 84. I mean, little no blood pressure, little same thing forever. Cholesterol, everything. No sugar, no nothing. I think first thing God honors you if you honor your parents.
Right.
Okay? Even if there's issues, there's some honor there. It's a Bible that's true. Okay? Right. but I think it said your days will be long. And I think there's things in our life that we look at, and we look at this history of our life, and you think about those things growing up, and you think about the farm and where we spent time up there and the things we done. Man, when all cousins come together and everybody got together. But see, somebody had to make that stuff happen. Okay? Inside the kitchen there was Mama sitting in front of the stove because she wouldn't leave it so the biscuits wouldn't burn.
Right.
There's Papa making the salads. Okay? And all of us coming in, sitting down eating. And then after we got done eating, we all went in and found a place to take a nap. Okay? I mean, when I think about life on that thing, and you know, there's so much to that history. In our life.
Yeah, it's a lost history, you know. Families don't do that anymore, you know. And on my mom's side of the family too, you know, she had 10 children, and there was probably 30 cousins, and you know, and that was like the highlights of my year, you know, when we all got together and sit down and ate and hung out and caught up and all those kind of things. So, yeah, that's always been a big part of my life, is being around family.
And, you know, you got to make that stuff happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling somebody that I use the word a lot. I call them markers in life. If you don't have a marker, life just goes through. You have to have times. If it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, or the 4th of July when you took advantage of us, we got to have times in our life, okay, that we set aside. And we say, let's come together and let's do this. And you have to work on make that happen.
Right.
Memories don't just happen all the time.
Right, yeah. Like I said, I remember that go-kart. We run the wheels off that thing.
Nothing left of it. You know what I mean? And Dwayne talked about the other day, we were talking about how we almost killed cousin after cousin. We think the things that we did, and how we spent time with each other, and how we enjoyed it. And no, we didn't enjoy it at the time, really. I don't think we understood it, and you know what I mean? You know, there were some cousins you didn't want around at certain times, but you think about times that you really enjoyed it, and but you didn't know they were that valuable of a memory.
Right.
You know, so what commitment are you making with these boys you got? And I loved what you said the other day with your boys. This will not end except in bloodshed when they get to wrestling. Get going.
Well, it's either tears or bloodshed.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. But no. Like I said, you know, Mom and Dad, they didn't want me to do wrong, but they didn't set the example. So, you know, with my boys, I'm home at 4:30 every day. Make sure we sit down and have dinner together. You know, now that I, you know, am saved and walking with the Lord, you know, when I'm wrong or I fail, I let them know that I'm wrong or I fail.
Right.
I don't try to be something that they could never attain. And I try to use every situation as a teaching moment, you know. Just try to give them a life that I didn't have, really, you know. And just my only thing I want out of life is for my children to follow the Lord. And, you know, that's it. He'll take care of the rest of it. You know, really, that's it, and that's my job, and lead them in the way they should go, you know. So, yeah, my wife and my boys are.
You got a good wife. I really like her, man.
Man, trust me.
I mean, now she's better than you are. Okay, there's something there, man. I watch her, and I'm thinking you have tricked her.
Honey, if you're watching this, I definitely married up.
I mean, when meeting her, I really liked her when I met her. And I really liked her. She fit right into the family, just fall right in, just like it. But, you know, and we make everybody, we take our time, but she just fell right in, just as easy.
She's like that. I'm kind of standoffish and backwards, and, you know, I don't like to talk a whole lot, really. But she don't meet any strangers. She's kind to everybody she meets, and, yeah, the Lord did that. He made that happen, because I'd have messed that up.
And my wife and Janice and I were engaged 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what I figured though in my life? I said, you know, if I don't settle down and get a good woman, I'll never amount to nothing.
Right.
I mean, you know, I could still be successful financially, or I still could do other stuff. But I said, you know, as far as my life, if I don't settle down and marry a good woman, and when I met her, I knew she was a good woman.
Yeah.
And she was, and I loved her and all that and all the romance stuff. I got all that figured out. But I'm telling you, the thing about it is, you know, people, guys, men sometimes, and I know there's a lot that happens in this world now. It's different, but they fool with a nut, a crazy woman,
Right.
thinking she's going to get better.
Right.
And, you know, a man will marry a woman most of the time thinking she'll never change, and a woman marries a man sure she can change him.
Right.
Okay? But when you fool with a nut, it's going to be a nut. Okay?
Right.
And it's all right. I like for them to find each other. A crazy man and a crazy woman. You want them to be together so they don't mess up two other people. But out there, when you fool, I think what a man wants when he comes home, he wants peace. He wants quiet. Okay, I mean, not like you're not talking or anything, but he wants peace when he comes home into a home. He don't want confusion and anarchy.
Right.
And
well, that's you know, like, to be honest, every relationship I was ever in, I never truly loved them. Mm-hmm. Actually, I probably never truly loved anybody until, you know, until I learned what love really was. Right. You know, I love people for what I could gain. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was kind of my motive. But now, you know, like me and my wife, our marriage works because we followed the instructions, and I don't take things so personal. Right. I understand that we're living in a fallen world, and right. Some that, like, when I'm off or something, you know, she'll say, "Honey, have you prayed today? Right. Have you read the Word today?" Mm-hmm. Because, you know, this ain't you. I don't take it personal. Right. And the same way with her. So, right. And so, like this morning, you know, we sit down in the mornings and read scripture together and mm-hmm. pray over each other and mm-hmm. pray over our kids, and so things like that. Our kids see that, you know, and they talk about traditions like Halloween. We don't do Halloween. Mm-hmm. We get a pumpkin, and every day we sit down for the month of October, we sit down and write something we're grateful for on there, and our boys love that. Yeah, you know, and my oldest one said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that with my family." Mm-hmm. So just things like that. Just you know, teaching them new things. I like traditions. I mean, I think, you know, we have to strive for traditions and things that I don't know, man. I think it's a very important part of life. And we sort of have to make sure we make those traditions happen. And, right. And you know, I see that with you, and I'm proud of you. And I talked to you on Eleanor the other day, and she was talking about how proud you was of you and how good you've done and how's this. And I thought, well, she ain't seen him with cornhole. But I think she's coming on the July the 4th. She's going to come. I've asked her ahead of time. I said, now I'm going to go and ask you now. Because she come one time before on the 4th. She came and Lord, we you know, it's a wild time. It was at Christmas. It was a wild time this year. Oh, it's wild. But anyway, you know, taking time and doing those things for their kids, making that stuff happen, enjoying them. Yeah. And enjoy them. Enjoy them. Because you'll look up and they'll be older. Okay? Yeah. And if time works like it's supposed to, they'll get to where they got their own stuff doing. They won't care that much about you. Right. They got stuff they want to do, which is natural. Right. You know, I've said in homes that I don't believe in all them bedrooms and all that stuff. I said, you ought to cram them together so they want to leave. I mean, you know what I mean? And my Janice is different, okay? She wants a hub home. I said, yeah, that'll go over like a ton of bricks. A bunch of different women in the kitchen. I said, I just can't see that happening. But I think you ought to pile them on top of each other, and so they leave. Right. I mean, the eagle don't have multiple rooms in a nest. Right. So, I mean, if you want them to leave, they got to leave. You don't want them just to get comfortable. I'm just going to stay here with mom and dad. I think that's the problem nowadays. You've got kids that ain't leaving home, man. Yeah, well, I think that's a cultural thing, too. And, you know, going back to life on the farm, you know, they put me to work when I was up there. But I learned some valuable stuff that I still take with me, you know. Mm-hmm. I can work on my own stuff. I learned a lot of skills and trades being a kid around my uncles and on both sides of the family. I learned a lot. So those things are valuable too. I think it is too, and it's important to teach them those things. And I know it's different. It's a different world. Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying it's not. I do see great things happening. Okay, in the youth today, and I see a move that's really I'm impressed with. It is happening. Okay, and I don't want to be of the cat poop mentality, like you can walk in a field of daisies all day
and step in one little pile of cat poop, and that's all you talk about when you get home.
Right.
See,
right.
there's a lot of cat poop out there, people that are nothing, goofballs, okay? And I don't want to be so concerned about them. I forget about the great things that's happening. There's more people being added to the kingdom now than there ever has been. There's a move among young men that there hasn't been in years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's and I don't even know those generations, the Z's from the X's from the Y's. I don't know them, but I mean I see this happening in their lives, and I see a different thing going on, and it brings me hope. Brings me hope.
Yeah, I think they're seeing that the world's got nothing to offer them. You know, I don't know, with technology and all this information, I think they've took it in and be like, what is this? There's got to be something more. Yeah. And another thing too is, you know, there's a lot of negative on there too, but they're still hearing the gospel on there. They're hearing people boldly proclaiming the good news, and it's making them curious, you know. And I can see that. I go to a church with about 80 people, and I say 40 of them are, 17 and younger.
Right.
So I'm the oldest person in the church, which is a good thing, you know. So, it does my heart good to see young people following the Lord.
Yeah. I see a young lady I follow. I don't know if it's TikTok or where I follow her at. I get all my education from these places, but and she got saved recently. She had millions of followers, and she talks sort of loud. She's got a real way of talking. She's got a lot of tattoos and stuff on her, but she's young anyway, and she's talking about, she says a lot of things. She'll come on boldly, talking about following the Lord. And she said, I left my videos up of what I used to be so you can see where I've been. Right. And see where I am. Right. And then she'll come on, and I mean, stuff like that I see is proclaimed. The craziest thing that ever happened, if the devil would have had any brains, and I don't think he does, he would have had his demons surrounding Charlie Kirk to protect him, to keep him from getting killed.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because his death shoved another move that was already active in the land. Yeah. It shoved that thing forward among young people.
Well, I mean, it's the way God works, right? Yeah. Works all things together for the good of those who love Him, you know, and it's just like, the 30-some years I walked in darkness. It's been my greatest opportunity to share the good news with people, because they see me now, and I ain't even really got to say anything. Yeah. They just look at me, and they kind of like, I know him, but that ain't it. And, I'm able to share what happened and why, and really I didn't do anything. I just come to the end of myself, and He done the rest. Yeah. So.
Well, I think I don't know, man. I hear people say this, and I'm all right if we don't agree, okay, because I'll admit you're wrong. But what I'm saying is I see people that talk about how hard it is to live for the Lord, okay, how hard it is and how tough it is. And I challenged this thing the other day, and some people, they said, I never had no problem. The devil didn't give me any problem until I tried to serve the Lord. And I said, I don't think you're being truthful here, okay? Because if you try, it's like saying it's so hard to be married, it's so hard to stay married and go home to my wife every day. Well, how stupid is that? Okay, now, do I know there's battles? Sure. But when you was serving the devil, there were battles. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah. And well, I agree. I mean, I can see that.
We can go with it either way. Okay?
No, I agree on both points, because, when I was serving myself and him, being a drug addict's tough. I mean, every waking moment of every day, your mind is consumed on how am I going to get more. Right. And you talk about being a slave. You know what I mean? It's slavery, and it's there's no hope in anything, And now, once I understood my identity, now that I know who I am, then those things lose their power. Do I still struggle with things? Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Does some of the old stuff thinking come back? Yeah, but I know where to go to for the answers. You know what I mean? So I'll put it this way. I can't do what I used to do. Right. If I do veer off the straight line, it hurts.
Right.
It don't feel right. And you have the Holy Spirit and the Word to guide you back to where you should go. Where before I had no voice, just stumbling around in the dark, following my own logic and what was right to me. And, it led to a whole bunch of consequences for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but, I can see the point. It's not easy. I get it. Because really, you're not really fighting the enemy. You're really just fighting yourself.
Well, and it's not easy. It's not easy to spend more money than you make. You want to do that. It's not easy not to slap people sometimes when you want to slap somebody. Okay, it's not easy to say, Janice and I have battles sometimes, and Kelsey, okay, she's with me too when we do it. They want to get in everybody's business, okay? Like if I drive by a yard and they got a lot of junk out there, they say, we need to call somebody about that. I said, honey, this is America. If you want to have junk in your yard, or if somebody leaves their car too far out in the road, down the street, we ought to call us. I said, no, maybe one day we'll have our car out in the road, okay? So, what we got to look at in this thing, there's some things that are hard to resist, okay? I understand that. The Bible said you got to bridle your tongue.
Right.
And I know there's challenges that we have, but sometimes I think these things, it's like people just always talk about it. It's such an excuse about the devil. The devil is always doing this. I went to a church one time and I told him, I said, I listened to your guys' testimony before I ministered. And I said, I got a vision of a devil tied up in the corner up there with some chains, and he'd like to leave here if y'all would let him. Because you're claiming all of your faults and failures and excuses on him.
Right.
But the devil, he said if you resist him, Brian,
he will flee.
He'll flee.
Yeah.
Okay? So what do you think?
Well, in the same, James, he talks about the same things. Remember that it comes from our own evil desires. That's where it comes from. To be honest, all the devil can do is dangle the carrot.
Right.
That's the only power he has over you. But when you understand it's you and your spirit and your flesh, that's the battle that goes on in your mind. Like, before in my old life, when my flesh said I wanted something, my mind said go get it.
Right.
But being transformed by the renewing of your mind thing is now when my flesh wants something, I got to go to my mind where the Holy Spirit lives, and he's like, that's not for you.
Right.
So there's a difference. There's a voice of reason up there besides my own.
That's great wisdom.
So
there is.
That's kind of, you got to be intentional. I don't think you can carry out this walk half-heartedly. Then it could really be hard.
Yeah.
Because like me, I got to be very intentional with the way what I do with my time, the things I take into my eyes and my ears and those kind of things. I got to be real intentional about those things. I got to spend time with the Lord and in prayer.